Barbara Pierce was born in New York City on June 8, 1925, and raised in Rye, New York, just outside Manhattan. However, her life would be most defined by a dance she attended in Andover, Massachusetts. It was there, at 16 years old, that she met George Herbert Walker Bush. The two would marry 3 years later and chart a course that would eventually lead them to the White House.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Their early years would see the difficulties of George Bush's military service, the joys of a growing family, and the tragedy of the loss of a child, Robin Bush, who passed at the age of 3. After many years in politics, from congressman to vice president, George Bush won the presidency in 1988.
George Herbert Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
Bestowing a new title on Barbara Bush.
I guess I shouldn't say she's my own anymore, for soon she'll be the First Lady of all the United States.
Her time in the White House was marked by her efforts on literacy, founding the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy and regularly reading to children. Her grandson Jeb Bush Jr. noting her passing on Twitter. I think our Granny would have wanted us to remember her by picking up a book and reading to our child. Mrs. Bush raised eyebrows and changed attitudes when she held a child with AIDS at a time when the contagiousness of the disease was inaccurately feared. As First Lady, Mrs. Bush tended to stay in the background in contrast to her predecessor Nancy Reagan. When asked to speak in 1990 at the commencement at Wellesley, an all-women's college, she knew just how to respond to criticism that she only got to where she was in life because of a man.
Who knows? Somewhere out in this audience may even be someone who will one day follow in my footsteps and preside over the White House as the president's spouse. And I wish him well.
When George Bush ultimately lost the White House in 1992, his wife was reflective.
I love people. I really loved living in the White House, but I don't miss it at all.
In 2001, she returned to the White House in a different way, this time as the mother of President George W. Bush, becoming the first woman since Abigail Adams to have been both the wife and mother of a U.S. president. In her later years, Mrs. Bush never let go of literacy, continuing her efforts as a private citizen. She joined Houston Texans football player J.J. Watt in 2014.
Mrs. Bush, I thought we were going to be reading to children.
If we're going to tackle illiteracy here in Houston, JJ, we've got to get our game faces on.
Along with President Bush, she leaves behind 5 children, 14 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren.
I always knew that I was lucky and that life had been good to me, but I really remembered again how really good it had been.
Barbara Pierce Bush, 41st First Lady of the United States, matriarch of an American political dynasty, dead at 92.